May I welcome to the stage and the black line, group number 5. Practice what it's like to stand on the line. Group number 5. To whom might I give the microphone?
Small introduction about our group. We're very proud of our small group because they faced maybe one of the most challenging topics, the most abstract, the most provocative. They didn't have any city to draw, but I'm very pleased how the team deal with this situation and what we managed to do in this short time. And we would like to welcome our team.
Yeah, we would like to welcome you to explore with us the innovative housing models that could help Ukraine to cope with this crisis, housing crisis that we got. And of course, these models should leave no one behind housing. This is the main idea of our investigation. Sorry, I did something wrong. Who can help me? Sorry. No? Okay. Yeah, I used the wrong. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so, and if just in one sentence say what the crisis in Ukraine with housing, we have almost 4 million people internally displaced. And of course, it caused a lot of trouble for housing system in Ukraine. Our team tried to see how it should be ideal system of housing. And we think that it should be equally divided between affordable housing, middle sector housing, and of course, expensive sector. But to be closer to reality, we see that in Ukraine the situation not so good as in ideal system. And now we are going to propose some innovative housing system, housing models that could help us to cope with this problem. So and we are going to do this in presenting real stories. And let's start from social impact housing for Petro.
Yeah, so we have an imaginary life housing story of Petro, whose social portrait is that he is a young person or a starter who's just started his housing career or story. He has a vocational and technical education, job, and some savings, and he's single. Before the full-scale war and during it, he rented apartments that were shared with his friends in a big city or town, but during the war he decided to move to Klasiv to his family, to restore his family house, and we have a solution for his needs in a way of social impact housing.
Yeah, so our Petro might be one of the actors in this model, like a customer or like a social impact specialist. And actually we have a few main actors in our model. First of all, it's a customer who can be municipalities, NGOs, or a private customer, and and cooperatives also. When this customer asks architect for project and architect designed this project, customer can contact with a social impact developer. It's an actor who involving specialists and volunteers and teach them and leading all building process until the end. So we have this building and education function inside this role. And actually, in the end, a social impact developer could provide different houses. For example, houses for internally displaced persons and official apartments for people who build these houses, and also for some teachers and doctors from big cities who could relocate it to these small cities, and they can have some affordable rent or rent-to-buy opportunities. So it's a win-win situation. And also, if we tell about a private house reconstruction, this model also can work. But in Ukraine, we have deep Ukrainian architecture heritage, and we need to do something with them when we tell about private houses. We already have great project in Ukraine. It's called Ukraine Villages. I am a member of this project, and actually this project could be actor who united two roles, architect and social impact developer. And we can help private customers with their challenges a little bit. Yeah, next slide. For example, we already have a web tool that helps people create their own houses that's based on our deep research, Ukrainian architecture heritage in different regions, and in few minutes you can create architecture project with this tool. So it's a part of this challenge, and it could be fixed with this tool. Yeah.
Thank you, Vlad. So if you forgot about our Petro, just let's see at him. Yes, so he has a specific education, yes? Vocational and technical education. And he could be involved in this social impact developer as a volunteer or even as a specialist, and to get the house after. So this was the first innovation model, and the next social housing model, please.
Yeah, and here we have an example of Claudia Petrovna, who is elderly lady, single elderly lady, and she receives a pension and fortunately has small savings. And her housing history started from house ownership, which was unfortunately destroyed due to full-scale invasion. So she was forced to co-live with her family in Voznесensky, which was an emergency house, and then as a vulnerable group of population, and the person who needed governmental help. She chosen social housing in the same town, and yeah.
I will talking about social housing model. I would like to say that it's not only one model. There are a lot of. Okay, I will stand on the line. So there are a lot of different models that could be considered as a social housing. And they differentiate on whoever develops the social housing, or whoever managing it, or how long the term of social housing being the social housing itself. And sometimes there is housing that start social and then become privatized. So we're talking about the systems that we would like to introduce, like something we would think could be useful for Ukraine in the future. The system starts with social housing company. You can see it in the center. This is non-government organization that has no profit, no literal profit. It could be sponsored. The finance comes from subsidies, maybe from other countries, because we have a lot of these things during the wartime, or from long-term mortgages, or even from individual share buying. It could be not a big percent of this individual share buying, but a small percent, but it could be good for people to feel that this is their own house. They could feel this ownership. Then the social housing company could build an affordable housing, good for us. We can also see the role of the municipality in this process. You can see it on the right part, the small bubble of municipality. In our terms, in Ukraine now, I think we could see that the municipality could give us subsidies for the land use, or even give it for free use for a long-term period when the house is built on this land. And also municipality could help us with integrating the new social housing in the city. So it could be help with infrastructure building, like the roads to this house, or giving like parts that could be like urban transaction to this, like social transportation or something. And the main thing about affordable housing that we could use in Ukraine, it's not only for vulnerable people. You can see on the downside of the screen that the 50%, like the half of the flats in this house, say, could be used for vulnerable people who couldn't make the rent by themselves, but would have subsidies from the social system, and we need social system reform for this. I think we will. And the other half is market rent, so the people who will have some money to rent the flats or the space in this social housing by themselves. And why it works that way? Because like some impact, some money coming from this rental flats. And also affordable housing could make some money, so it wouldn't be like just spending, from commercial mixed use that we could place on like first floors. If I could have architecture involved, I think you can imagine what could be on first floors, like cafes, like maybe some gym, or like private schools. And at the end, I would like to say that there are a lot of privileges in this system, because for people it could be feelings right about having a house, having a flat like this, not only because stability, like they could be contracted to live in this house for a long term, so they don't have to worry about like moving out every half a year, but also about feeling an ownership in this house, like they feel like they an after of this housing somehow. And also because we could create this as a discrimination-free zone, because a lot of people like feel discrimination when they're renting outside of systems like social housing. So I think Claudia could find some peace and live her life freely and accessibly in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have impact housing, we have social housing, all these, again, it's not new models. The world already used it, and we know very successful histories. But at the same time, how to make it works? All this. Oh, sorry. We should look at the stories how it works.
I'm sorry. I didn't think we have been quick enough to put these examples inside by the presentation. So there are social housing in Netherlands, because there are a lot of social housing. If you want some inspiration about it, you could just Google it. It have been in a lot of years, and you just could have a vision for the future social housing. It's not always like the same blocks. It could have differentiation in it. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we are thinking about facilitator. Who will organize all this social housing, impact housing, who will control all this? And we find out that there is a system already works in the world that could be implemented in Ukraine as well. This is social renting agency. What is this? First of all, let's think who will be the first user of this system. Petrenko family, please.
Yeah, so we have a Petrenko family whose social portrait is that they are a family with middle-aged parents and a small child. Both parents has higher education, and one of them is a breadwinner. So before the full-scale invasion, they rented an apartment in a city of the eastern part of Ukraine. But after the full-scale war started, they unfortunately became an IDPs and found themselves in a shelter that was a form of emergency house in a city in the middle part of Ukraine, and unfortunately they have lost their only way of income. But after several months or weeks, they shifted to social rent or kohari, which is an initiative in Ukraine, in the same city, and they were looking for a job and working as a part-time worker. But child was growing up, and they decided to return to the region they came from. And because of the occupation of the father, they have chosen her son.
Okay, let's imagine this family is on the train station in Kherson without nothing. Where should they go first? Any ideas? Yes, exactly. Social renting agency. This organization, non-profitable. This is very important. And the main idea of this organization is to be intermediary between private landlords and low-income tenants. So Petrenko family is like a target group. A lot of such families or people who has this need. How we see it should work? Let's see on the screen. We have three actors. Landlord is owner of the property. It could be not only private person. It could be legal person. It could be municipality or other who has the property. And we see that social renting agency is principal tenant. And of course, the vulnerables are going to be a subtenant. Why we need this middle actor? First of all, this middle actor take responsibility for carrying monthly payment for landlords and rental. What is this? I can't see. Okay, but the idea was that social rental agency take care of property, and we also thought that owners of the property could be a lot of people who left Ukraine because of the war, and their properties just stay without nothing, and they have no opportunity to take care of this and even to have any money, okay, or rent. So they can go to the social renting agency and agree to have this agreement that rental payment should be low, to have opportunity to invite subtenant with low income. So, but at the same time, I'm finishing already. We should have the whole system, how it works. We see that we need collaboration with local government, with international NGOs or other donors to support social renting agency from the very beginning, to have funds for supporting subtenants with low incomes. And of course, we see that all this should be regulated by a regional government or even state government. So we see that collaboration, this is the main thing that we need to make it works. And how to make it, how to change the policy, I would give the word to our Andriy.
Okay, as far as I understand, we don't have time. There would be a report from our team, and you would be able to read in detail. So, like, maybe I'll just highlight few simple steps, and in our opinion, will help to allocate resources for such a change, so that nobody is left behind housing. For example, new substantial taxation on vacant housing has to be introduced in order to force owners of property to actually put it working. We need adequate regulation to be imposed on the rental market, so that especially in the lower range, the prices have to be regulated, have the range, not be defined solely by the market itself. Also, the contracts have to be standardized, so they provide security for tenants. We can say that it's very important that communities and municipalities stop giving away the crucial resource, which is land for free, as it often happens now in Ukraine. In future, developers can be easily encouraged to introduce some social housing in their commercial properties by means for some tax reductions, for example, or even obliged to provide social housing units as a certain % of their projects, which is usually called inclusive zoning. We need to revise the whole system of building regulations in order to make it possible to create social housing at best cost, and not all the systems that we looked for are even able to be realized according to current building regulations. It's very important that local governments have and are obliged to provide a certain extent of adequate social housing, because it imposes the political responsibility for doing so, and during the elections people can give their judgment whether the former government was effective in doing so or not. We think that it's crucial that existing model of providing affordable houses by crediting developers, and developers mostly benefit from the current system, should be closed down. Instead, it's wiser to create the rental social market stock, which could influence even the private commercial market as well. The same should also be done with subsidies for amenities, because now we are just flushing money down the toilet. Why not investing in efficiency and sustainability of housing stock instead, etc., etc., etc. I hope you would like to read that in a report. Thank you.
Okay, what's the last? Oh, yes. So let's improve the system to leave no one behind housing.
Thank you very much. Group number 5. Yeah.